welcome to Community Arc. It's March, Pinch Punch first of the month and all that. It's lovely to be here with you. Did you know that March is International Women's History Month? I think that's very exciting. And I have prepared some reflections to help us think about women in relation to Jesus. And my first reflection is a poem or a spoken word in which I think about what that woman must have felt when she stole through the crowds and crept up behind Jesus, touching the hem of his robe, hoping and praying that she could be healed from years and years of gynecological problems and bleeding. I haven't given it a name. I think that's probably quite pertinent because she doesn't have a name. She is the woman with the issue of blood. It wasn't chains that kept me bound, but the ground, crimson for danger. Wherever I stood, there was blood and blood and blood and blood. Life-giving power, corrupted, a stench so sour, only death could devour the shame. And my God, I wished and I prayed for the same. Either that or my name to no longer be maimed by the fear to come near, the contempt and the jeer that told in my ears for year upon year upon year. Every penny I'd earned, I'd paid learned physicians, only to worsen this wretched condition, leaving me blood-soaked and pain-racked and poor, and hope just a stain on the blood-splattered floor. So I don't know what I would have done if he hadn't come, passing through that day. I'd heard them say he was a miracle man, a prophet of God, and I thought, well, if anyone can, maybe he could set me free. Let me be, it's a cliche, but I suppose me, the scarlet chains, the gut-wrenching pain, the stink-sickening air that steals my care. What if they were no longer there and people could bear to greet me with welcome embrace instead of disdainful face? And my hands were not raw from washing and washing, and my feet no more sore from rushing away from the spit and the scorn and the stone to seek safety alone. Do you see now? Do you see how? Why, it was a risk I had to choose. There was nothing to lose. And even the violence and abuse they could use against me was worth the cost, because everything was already lost. And so it was, in stealth and disguise. I kept my eyes firm on the floor and I crept to the fore of the crowd. It's strange to say, but I wasn't afraid. I was filled with such brazen faith as I reached for the braid on the hem of his robe, while he strode with intent to heal and restore Jairus' daughter. The father was pleading and fretting the time. The crowds were urging him forward, hungry for signs. And yet mine, unnoticed, had passed them by, for I knew right away there in the throes I was healed as soon as I touched his clothes, and the flow that blighted my life so had ceased. Such relief as I turned to retreat. But my feet would not move, held me fast to the ground as I froze at the sound of his voice, asking who had touched him. Someone had, he knew. Laughter broke out and mocking shouts as he turned all about, scanning the crowd. And all the while Jairus' cries grew loud. But Jesus was sure, despite crowds pressing in, that someone with faith had reached out and touched him. And in touching his power they claimed for their own. He must know who'd done it, must speak with the one. There was silence. Tension filled the air. His gaze was searching the crowd once more, and I held my gaze firmly on the floor. Sure that he would relent and go forth. The girl was still dying after all, but time stood still as he. And I knew I had to confess the breach, so I fell at his feet, shaking as I spewed out the truth, awaiting his wrath. But do you know what? None came, none at all. Not a single word or blow did befall. Just his face, bending low and lifting me up, filling my cup with words of love. My daughter, he said, go in peace and be well, you are healed. And with that he was gone, striding on to the other daughter, the worthy one. Or so I would have thought in the past, while I among women would be last. But now we were equals, our stories enmeshed, for word tells me that she too lived through death to rise up.